regretted the fact that I had to step down last year. As it was said before, I didn't lose elections. I stepped down because I have my own theory about it. And for all those who have read the history, understand they will agree with me that in politics you must always be the one to take the initiative to go away. Because people like it when they take you up, but they enjoy it more when they take you down. So don't give them displeasure. And I believe that for all those who want to be in politics, it would be very fruitful to have spent some time running local affairs. But in our era, things are very different than before. Everything is at the same time local and global. The citizens of the world are called to meet, to get to know each other and to coexist. It is from that point that the people's authentic and truthful wish and intention for peaceful coexistence and cooperation can emerge, far from nationalist, pseudo-patriotic sensitivities. The city's diplomacy, as it has been named, has been an international initiative of the city of Athens during these last 8 years. And it has a purpose to mobilize cities and local societies on an international level in order to promote cooperation and sometimes play even political roles in peace-building processes. Local authorities bring government closer to the people and have the potential for enhancing both efficiency and democratic accountability. This is fundamental for our new big country, Europe, where, as you maybe know, a new principle has been adopted by all countries, the so-called principle of subsidiarity, which was introduced for the first time by the Treaty of Maastricht, according to which decisions have to be taken at the level closest to the citizen. The United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan affirmed in his written message the broader effort to make the city's diplomacy a permanent instrument of the search of peace is more encouraging in our days. To establish a sustainable network of cooperation. As a result of this agreement, a new body was established, the World Institute of Local and City Diplomacy, and I have the honor to be its first president. I was asked by a student what does this term local means, because he tried to find it in his computer, but the computer reacted and rejected it. It's very simple, it's a neology, it's a new term. It comes from the word global and local together. So now we have a new body, a new institution. A critical evaluation of the adequacy of traditional diplomatic tools, both national and international, to build and maintain peace in the long run. Also, a critical evaluation of the traditional separation in international cooperation between development and peace building. We shouldn't forget that half of the world population is currently living in cities. Decentralization policies and their being the closest administrative apparatus to civil societies involved in the daily life of local communities with an in-depth understanding of the issues most directly affecting them. The global perspective of city diplomacy builds on the basis and identifies the city as the most effective meeting point between local and global interests. These characteristics of city diplomacy at the intersection of peace building and development make it particularly useful in conflict and post-conflict situations where the two exigencies are clearly correlated and the need for economic and social peace dividends is strong. By implementing elements for a policy framework for city diplomacy based on specific strategic orientations and targets, such as cross-breed peace and development in city-to-city problems, important to integrate the promotion of a culture of peace and understanding between different cultures with the practices typical of development-related interventions, of renovating the traditional tools of national-level diplomacy with the recognition of the crucial role of local authorities in peace building, manifesting the benefits of peace in their day-to-day experience. Both states and international institutions should acknowledge cities as key actors for social development and peace. Political framework for cities' actions should therefore be provided both at the national and international levels, recognizing their capacity to act as autonomous actors and their right to participate in national bodies and in the international arena through their national and global networks. Also mobilize local human resources through local initiatives involving the entire global civil society, including community groups, NGOs, professional associations, private sector, mass media, universities, and research institutions. This is what we call citizens' diplomacy, the most important and crucial parameter of the citizens' diplomacy. Look what is happening nowadays in Cyprus. The crossing of Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots across the ceasefire green line of the island, following the partial lifting of restrictions on free movements by the occupation regime of the north, which was accepted unconditionally and enlarged with a package of measures for Turkish Cypriots by the government of the Cyprus Republic, is an extraordinary event which illustrates the real power of citizens in the new global reality and the real impact of the citizens and citizen diplomacy. My dear friends, in order to implement those strategic orientations, especially on peace-building issues, the following actions are further needed. First, to promote agreements between mayors of conflicting parties. Mayors all over the world have in common a great number of problems and challenges to be tackled on a daily basis. Such circumstances make it easier for them to sit around the table with their counterparts of an enemy, if we can call it this country, and discuss not just national politics, but most of all practical solutions to practical problems. I mentioned the Greek-Turkish rapprochement as a good example, and the so-called earthquake diplomacy, which is also a result of city diplomacy. I remember myself at that time as mayor of Athens, flew without delay to Istanbul and had a meeting with the mayor of the city, Mr. Gürpünar, followed by a series of visits, thus turning over a new leaf in the relations between the two cities and the two nations. At the end of this long debate, they decided to sign this common protocol of cooperation. One more good example of what cities diplomacy can give. In this meeting, mayors from conflict areas and post-conflict regions will gather for an unprecedented roundtable in a groundbreaking session of exchanges. I propose to the International Olympic Committee the establishment of a network of cities, the World Union of Olympic Cities, a new Olympic institution. And since last month, a new Olympic institution was born. It is clear that the main challenge for the new international order is to make both urbanization and globalization work for all the citizens, instead of leaving billions of them behind or on the margins, living in need and fear. The city's diplomacy is certainly the most appropriate and modern form for promoting peace, security, human rights, good standards of living, and quality of life for all citizens. What is the aspiration of all people around the world? To find ways of contact and communication. We are helped today by the fact that the world has shrunk. Globalization has made the whole world smaller. And the fact that the new initiative has come out from cities brings us back to the ancient times. As you all know, Polis city was the center of human, social, business, academic life of the old times. And after a long period, mankind is going back to where it started, to where its roots are, in cities. In our days, the 80% of the global population will live in cities. Just 1 century ago, it was exactly the opposite. 80% of the global population, they were living in rural areas. It's up to us now to take this kind of initiatives, be helpful to international organizations, and go back to the citizens. And this is our vision, to put back the citizen in the center of democracy and politics. One day, we shall all reach a high level of political organization which will be called global democracy. So, taking all these historical examples into consideration, we must predict and foresee what will be the future of tomorrow. We contribute in reaching this goal as easier as possible and as quick as possible by bringing the citizens in front of their responsibility and the international system in front of a need to give back to the cities and to the citizens the power they must have in order to play this important historical role for the future of the whole world. Thank you very much.